All right. Welcome to Picking My Brain. I don't know what number this is. I've done a few first episodes. I think I've explained what Pluto means 3 times on my channel. I only have 8 videos. It's 8, 9, one of the two. No, we're not playing with toys right now, buddy. 8, 9, one of the two. And today we're going to talk about whatever I want to talk about. That's what Picking My Brain is. We're hanging out. We got the iced coffee. It's a Tuesday morning, not the store. And let's begin. I think there's 2 subjects I might cover today. I want to cover, I have this written down in my notes here. Hold up. I want to cover something that I would like to call escapism. Escapism. Something that I wrote down. Oh. Something that I wrote down. I guess I only wrote down 1 sentence, so it doesn't really even matter. But I wrote down this thing called escapism is a coward's dream. That's what I think I wanted to make this video about. So let's start with this. Let's start with our society. What is escapism? How does it present itself in our world as we live it? You want me to be honest? Escapism is doing what you're probably doing right now, watching this video. Taz, we're not playing with toys, but you are cute. Watching this video, I would say living your life. I guess this is the second topic I want to talk about is what does it mean to be creative in today's society? What are we creating? Are we just creating more products for people to consume? Because in my opinion, the biggest form of escapism is consumption. Now, I will get a little bit deeper into this idea of escapism. Let's be honest, guys. When did you ever hear someone who said, or have you ever heard someone say to you, my dream, if I won the lottery, what would I do? I would, which is weird, our dream is to have a bunch of money, but I would go off grid. I would go buy a cabin in the woods and have it fully self-sustaining. I would have internet and I would just do whatever I wanted. I've heard so many people say that. They want to just completely escape. That's the fullest expression of ideology today. Tazzy, we're not playing. We're not playing. The toy goes behind, but you can come sit. Thank you. That's it. They just want to leave society behind. How many people in America today do you hear say, if Donald Trump wins, I'm gonna move to Canada. I'm gonna move to Europe. We're too satisfied having our lifestyles just be a consumption model. 1 and 2, when we think of escaping, we just think of moving to a different consumption model. Okay, I'm gonna escape this really crappy reality TV that I'm watching. It's great. I'm gonna escape it by watching anime. I'm gonna escape anime by doing this. I'm gonna escape my job by listening to music. I'm gonna escape whatever. And then thinking about this idea of creativity. It's like, for me, it's weird. I haven't been as creative recently because creativity would be my escape. And I'm thinking about, how do I create something that isn't just going to be an escape? How do I create something that's going to bring people into reality? Because I hate to break it, but we all live in this one world, and it's pretty messed up. We got people starving in the streets. We got people who need healthcare not getting the healthcare they need. Not to mention, the completely lost history of United States interventionism that no one fucking cares about. And then we ask why people from, let's get into a different thing. But they want to escape that. You want to escape that. It's boring. Not only is it boring, it's not exciting. That's the same thing as boring. It's not, you feel isolated. When I think about the news, I think about, it's like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm sitting in my bedroom watching my phone. I'm escaping by pulling myself into reality. And then at the same time, I've been thinking about creativity from the sense of like, what do I want to create? What do I want to change in the world? And is creativity, me just sitting drawing in my room or making videos, gonna change things? Is it really gonna like make the world a better place? I don't know, but I can see the issues in our society, and I think other people probably can see them too. And it sounds kind of trite and banal, but like, why can't we try to make the world a better place? Like, that's what I want to use my creativity for. Like, yeah, I'm creative, but it's like, I care more about the real world, and I want to make the real world a better place. And it's like, the only outlet for things like that is I make videos, and then I watch videos from leftist YouTubers. Or I read books from leftist people, you know, and then it's like, okay, I'm grateful for the knowledge. Like, the knowledge is great, and I enjoy reading, but then you really got to think about it, and it's like, how are we making the world a better place? But I watched this really interesting video. I don't remember the lady's name. FD Signifier recommended her. It was a video about mutual aid, and because of that, I actually ordered 2 new books. I ordered Kropotkin's on mutual aid, and then Unlearning Economics had a video about Thomas Sowell, which I really liked. Anyway, that's the thing. It's like, these are just videos, and they're concepts, and it's really interesting stuff. But hey, guys, like, we got to get out and do something. We got to touch grass, because I'm getting to a point where me learning more about the world is me escaping from it. And I guess in that I mean escaping from my responsibility of you know, I'm not religious, but you know, taking care of this Garden of Eden that we were given, literally. I mean, yes, I'm just one person. Yes, it's like only gonna be my radius, but like, as humanity, you know, this is our garden, and what are we doing? You're like, oh, how many fires can we start before the whole thing burns down? So, I mean, how I feel is that I don't want to escape anymore. I want to get more involved in my reality. You know, I've been doing a lot of research into mutual aid, or a little bit. You know, in my area, there's not any mutual aid. None. But I'm going to be moving, and so I want to be moving to a place that has mutual aid and communities that I can get involved with. But here's my question. I read something interesting. I know people don't really like Channel 5, but I think Andrew, he really changed his perspective. He's been doing good journalism, but he put on this on his description on one of his videos. He said, there's something about the political parties being consumer groups that we call political parties, and I don't think it could be any more correct. I 100% agree. It's like, when are we're just gonna accept Biden? And not to say Trump, I want Trump at all. He's a fascist. Period. But I would say that Biden is just the status quo. Hey guys, let's keep pushing the status quo. I mean, the world's gonna burn. I mean, we're supposed to be at net zero by 2030 to at least be okay, and no one's doing anything as 2024. But if I go buy a cabin in the woods and I have it solar powered, and I have a rain catcher, and I go live in the woods, I'll be good. I'm just escaping the responsibility of living in an area and being a conscious citizen, but I'll be good. I'm being a coward, in my opinion, but I'll be good. And in that same sense, it's like, I'm mad. I'm not mad. All right. So there were people in the 70s, this big hippie movement in the 70s. I'm reading this book called Another Roadside Attraction by Tom Robbins. It's all about the hippie movement in the 60s and 70s. Obviously, it's a Tom Robbins book, it's a fiction book. It's not the same as the hippies, but I'm reading it, and to be honest, it's interesting because we had these groups of very radical people in the 60s and 70s, and obviously we talk about the civil rights movement, we talk about the anti-Vietnam movement. We need to bring up COINTELPRO and the coordinated destruction of any real history being remembered about these people. Obviously, no, Taz. But what I will say is there was a group of people that instead of making radical change, and it's like I don't want to call out my ancestors because like these are the people we're carrying on their lineage. You know, I'm grateful for what they did do, but they went out and they just started communes. It's cool. I wish we could have more communes that were easily accessible to young people today. But I think there's actually an ageism thing between old leftists and young leftists right now where, I don't know, maybe I just haven't been in enough spaces, but it feels like there's not a whole lot of people, because they're still alive, people from the civil rights, people who lived in communes, these people are still out there, you know? So I guess how I feel is that I want to know why they kind of just ran away from actually trying to make the world a better place. Was it like, yeah, I wonder why they kind of just ran away. And I don't blame them. They've been fighting a fight for 10 years or whatever, but they kind of left us with no real leftist infrastructure. And now all people my age are like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? You know, I'm grateful for the people who wrote books. I'm certainly grateful for the legacy that we have, you know. And that's what pisses me off even more about escapism is like, here's the other thing. Yeah, they might have escaped, but at least they like left behind a trail so we could follow in their footsteps or whatever. Here's the real fucking frustrating thing is there's all these liberals, white liberals who are saying, and there's, I don't know, there's just a lot of liberals who are saying, oh, if Trump gets elected, we're going to move to Canada. If Trump gets elected, we're going to move to Europe. If Trump gets elected, acting like there isn't a legacy of real leftism in the United States, or that the world, it's just all going to go to shit, or we shouldn't even stand up or fight for our country. I mean, are you so seated with hatred of everything America that you can't recognize the goodness in our history? No, I'm not talking about Thomas Jefferson. I'm not talking about the founding fathers. I'm talking about people in mining towns. I mean, watch my video on Ludlow. Well, I'm talking about, you know, factory workers, railroad workers, people who throughout the history of the United States who fought for workers' rights and fought, you know, the UAW, the IWW, the International Workers, whatever, a bunch of mining workers, a bunch of even slave abolitionists, even during the Revolution, you know, people were saying tyranny. They were marching in the street because you could avoid the draft by paying. They were saying, and thanks Howard Zinn for this example, they were saying, you know, tyranny against who? Like we're still having the same tyranny. People in the late 1800s were saying, you know, it's not by the people, for the people, you know, to the people. It's by Wall Street, for Wall Street. People in the 1800s were saying that shit. We act like this hasn't been going on for the whole time, and it has. Yes, it's new-ish in the history, but it's because we don't know our history that we were so quick to say it's all bullshit. We shouldn't care about our country, you know? I mean, then sit up and fucking learn the history. Learn the history of the Black Panthers, for real. All you white people out there, and I don't know it perfect, but it's like, learn the history of these mutual aid groups, the Rainbow Coalition. Learn the history of these things and learn how leftists actually operated. You know, and maybe it's a stereotype, and it's definitely a racist stereotype, but as growing up, my intuition of the Black Panthers was I should be afraid because, I don't know, because my parents were afraid of them. I don't know. But when I look into it, when I realize they're doing breakfast programs for the youth, standing up for their community, wanting better pay, and for them to be able to decide for their own community. Like, what the fuck? That's like so cool. And when you really think about it, it's kind of crazy how that's been kind of brushed under the rug. And, you know, he's killed, all these civil rights leaders killed, and brushed under the rug. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's a real history in America. Even Occupy Wall Street. You could talk about other things in the 90s. But we really, after Reagan, had a hard time. You know, a lot of leftist infrastructure was destroyed in America. And yes, I'm not blaming all that on the hippies who went and did a commune. I do want to also recognize McCarthyism and every other thing. But there is a lineage of leftism in America, and we're forgetting it. And instead of really, you know, accepting our fate and really committing and doing the shit we need to do, what do we say? If whoever wins, we're going to move to Canada. If whoever wins, we're going to move to... Fuck it. You know, let's stand up for what we believe in. Like, let's get something done. You know? I think my battery's just about to die. But I don't know. That's all I gotta say. And then when I think about my creativity, I think about, this is just the last in conclusion, do I want to continue to contribute to other people escaping, or do I want to contribute to people living, coming together and living for real? So I hope you enjoyed my TED Talk. Thanks for coming. This has been Picking My Brain, and peace and love. We'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you.